And we are live. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's Lisa here with Lisa Marie Accounting. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Sassy Southern Accountant. I'm a profitability coach for women entrepreneurs. Basically, in a nutshell, I help women take the chaos out of their business numbers so that they can feel empowered by their money instead of controlled by it. In essence, I help make the numbers sassy and sexy, which, of course, I love sassy. So with me today is Jasmine. And Jasmine, I'm not going to pronounce your last name because I know I will do it all wrong. So I'm not going to do it. But with me today is Jasmine, and she is a confidence coach, and we're going to be talking all about sassing up your presence, whether it's online or in person, which when we had our conversation last time we talked, it was something she and I said that was just really, truly important. But before I get to letting her introduce herself, I also have to brag about her. When I met you a couple of years ago, you were in the process of writing a book. There's part of the title in there that I love, of course. It's called Sassy Confidence. And I was going through a time where I wasn't sure I was going to be able to build the business, get out of work or whatever. And she and I met, and she asked me if I would be one of the ones to read the book and comment on it, and critique it and see if there was any changes that need to be made, etc. And in the return, I got a signed copy. I've read this book, I think, twice now, and I'm going to start on it again because it's that good. It's not a long book. It's very short, but it talks about us as women, what we can do to have that sassy confidence that sometimes we forget. And I love the book. So I had to brag about you. So check it out. Make sure you get it because it's a really good book. So Jasmine, will you please introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what you do? And y'all think I have an accent? You ain't heard nothing yet.
Hey, well, thank you for the introduction. That was really awesome of you.
I love you. You know that.
My name is Jasmine, and I will say my last name. It's Beausoleil. So yeah.
See, I told you I would have done it all kind of injustice.
Well, it basically means beautiful sun. So if you want to go with that, that's fine with me. I'm a confidence coach, and I also do social media management and marketing. Basically, I help women really put themselves forward with a lot more confidence in their business and in their life so that they attract what they want and what they need, right? So I help them just bring out the flower that's within. Mm-hmm. So I think, and I find it's really rewarding in itself because you get to see, like you, when I first met you, you were kind of a bit, not really shy, but you weren't really deploying all of your potential, which you are doing now. And I'm so happy about that. No, but I can see you shine right now. And it's a long ways from what it was way back. Right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I in the last couple of years. Very much so. So tell us, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Like, why did you write Sassy Confidence? Why are you a self-confidence coach? Because I mean, yes, you do with the social media, but you take that social media and kind of intertwine it into that self-confidence coaching. And I want everyone to understand why you do it.
All right. Well, I guess it goes back a long time ago when I was a little girl. I had to work on my confidence. I was brought up in an aggressive way. I can say my father was pretty violent. He did what he could with what he had, but emotionally he had a hard time dealing with his own fears and stuff like that. So he kind of, it came out as aggression. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of had to struggle through that and become my own person. And I was looking outwards, and I was seeing a lot of women going through the same thing, either in the relationship with their father, with their mother, with their spouse. And it's really hard to see all these women not saying what they should be saying and not being who they should be because they're afraid. Mm-hmm. They're afraid of what people think. They're afraid of how people are going to react. And I studied in the feminine divine, which is everything that came before Christianity and stuff like that. So I kind of grabbed a lot of stuff from there on why we are the way we are today. Aside from our own upbringing, there's all this social stuff that comes into play, which I'm really happy these days because of the Me Too movement, which gives women back a lot of their power, right? So that kind of helps, I think, in the women to grab their power back, which we have long overdue. So yeah, it was my own process, going through my own stuff and then helping other women do the same thing. And I see so much good come from that, from the book, from the stuff that I do. Women who a lot of them have started a business a short while ago, and then I help them fill it to the brim, and then, you know, they just have to manage their time and their confidence. And I think it's just so rewarding. The reason why I do it is because I find it so beautiful when a woman finally shines, and that's why I do it.
And it's really important. I mean, confidence, y'all, has everything to do with not only starting a business, but also managing it. Because, I mean, you think about it, when we let our self-confidence get down, or we struggle a little bit with that self-confidence, which we all do regardless, you start seeing where you're not managing the time better. You're not doing what you need to be doing. You're letting all those little fears or whatever talk to you. I mean, I'm the first one, I'll say I'm guilty of it. We let the regular day in, day out of life kind of get in. And sometimes you have to take a step back and get that, do whatever self-care to get that self-confidence back, and to remind yourself, wait a minute, you know what? I've got this and I can do this. And you're okay afterwards. So when someone says we should focus on our presence, when you and I talked about this, and as online entrepreneurs, because most of my clientele, most of my followers are online entrepreneurs. So when we say we have to focus on our presence, a lot of us focus on our picture, you know,
well,
how we look. So, but when you say image, you mean more than that, right?
Well, yeah.
So what do you mean?
Well, first, it is the image. It's your profile photo. It's what I've seen so many profile photos that needed help. We're just crying out for it. But it's the energy. It's not just the picture that you're taking of your face. It's the energy that emanates from you. So if you don't, take for example, I'm going to shoot this in here. Take for example, if you're going shopping for groceries or whatever, and you don't feel quite up to par that day, you'll see a whole bunch of things that match up with that. People are angry, people are stressed out, they cut you in line, but do the same exercise. And then if you're up to par, if you're happy on that day, if you feel lighter, and you'll kind of look around and see that everybody feels lighter, looks lighter, people smile at you, and it's all because of what you are. So, and I urge people to try this out as an experiment. And it's not only the image online, although it is, but it's also how you feel when you take that picture. So when you take the profile picture, and you'll see it in your eyes, you'll see it in the way that the picture feels to you, that you don't shine as much when you don't feel good, right? So even if the picture looks great in the frame, you'll look at it and you'll like, this other picture where I felt great looks even better. Why? Because of what you emanate.
The energy. Right. And that makes sense, because I mean, there's been plenty of times where I've been not feeling well, but I still want to take a picture, and I'll take a picture and I'm like, ugh. And I end up deleting it because I'm like, ugh. Because you can see, like you say, I mean, you become more aware. So it's like you can see that energy, and it makes sense, because not only when you posting, when you're doing the images and all, and your content, and you're putting the biography like on your Facebook page and all of that, I started thinking about what you were saying, and so I went back and I looked at it because I wanted to make sure my energy, my good energy, my sassiness was actually being portrayed in those areas, because if not, then my image isn't right. And so that, to me, that made sense after we talked, how it all kind of plays in together. And one of the things they tell you, when you're doing your business, especially online, is to make sure that you have a good profile picture. Make sure your image is great. And I think we need to understand that our image is just more than that profile picture. Our image is what we portray out, and that energy that we portray out, and how we shine, or how bad we feel, or whatever. So, I mean, when we're in a pissy mood, you don't want to put a picture up there that you've taken on that day, because you're going to be emanating that, just like you said. So okay. So here's the thing. There's more to the image than just your online presence. Like, yep, when we were talking about it, and what are some of the things, not just online, but also offline, when we go to meetings and stuff like that, what are some of the things that we should consider when we are looking at doing our online presence and our in-person presence? Like, because a lot of us are starting to do in-person workshops. A lot of us are starting to do network meetings, because it's coming back into where those are good things, because we want that connection. We want to be able to actually meet people in person. Like, for example, I'm going to Palm Springs. I am an online entrepreneur all the way, but I actually can't wait to get to Palm Springs, because I get to see some of the women I haven't seen since Canada. And then I also get to see some women that I've been talking to online, but I actually haven't met in person yet. So when we're thinking about those things, what are some things that we should consider when we are looking at that as a whole?
Right. So everything needs to be aligned, right? So it's not just the image that we portray online, but it's also how we feel, how we dress, how we walk. So when you go offline, and you're going to a meeting or you're networking, it's how you present yourself to the rest of the world. So if you're not feeling good on that day, I suggest you put some music and rock your booty a little bit and get in the groove, because it's going to help a lot on the energy that people. You can walk into a room and somebody who's really energetic and who just, I don't know, dance the salsa all night or whatever. She's going to walk into a room and she just glows, right? And people will notice that glow. So really be sure to get that up there, that glow that you have when you're having a good time, when you want to make a good impression. That's what you want to attain. That's what you want to put out there. So stand tall, head lifted, look at people in the eyes. Don't be shy. I mean, don't go staring either, but look at people in the eyes. It's really important for that communication to be fluid. Eye contact,
right.
The eye contact is really important. Shoulders back. I know a lot of women have a tendency to slouch forward to protect themselves, because we're all wanting to protect our front area. But shoulders back, head up, and look at people in the eyes and smile. The most beautiful curve on a woman is her smile. So don't be.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to remember that. I like that. And I think all of us can remember that the most beautiful curve on us is our smile. I mean, and also people tell you it takes more muscles. It takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. So I mean, you want to make sure you're smiling. I like that. Anything else?
Well, make sure it's a genuine smile. So I'll take off my glasses and maybe show it to the people. So, all right. So when you smile and you're not feeling too good, it can look a little bit like this. So you're kind of just smiling, but there's nothing going on here around the eyes, right? You don't see the smile in the eyes. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to communication seminars, but the smile also appears in your eyes, and it appears in your voice as well. So if you don't feel too good when you're going to be talking to people, the fluctuations in your voice are going to be much different. And you're going to have a tonality that is much I could say much darker in a feeling. So, but if you're upbeat, then your voice kind of is a bit lighter, and that Southern accent or Canadian accent for me kind of shines through. And you got to accept that, right? You gotta go with the flow. But honestly, it's about being genuine in everything that you do. When you stand, when you smile, when you talk to people, look at them in the eye, a good firm handshake, not something to squeeze their fingers off, but to say like, I'm here and I'm proud and I know my stuff. So
right.
That's right. Yeah.
I like that.
None of this little thingy there. Don't do that.
No, I don't do that. Okay, so I think this is really important to discuss, and one of the reasons why is because I think it kind of intertwines. I think it affects our presence, and that's mindset. I think, and with all entrepreneurs, but especially women, I think it really does affect our mindset, or our mindset affects our presence. So in what ways does the mindset affect our presence?
In every single way imaginable. Mindset is everything. And that's why confidence is so important to me, because if you don't have the confidence, then your mindset is going to be in the gutter, and that's no good for nothing. So your mindset will influence how many people that are attracted to you in a networking event, how many people are attracted to you even on social media. I have clients that have a massage therapist practice, and they often call me and they say, well, I don't know what's going on. I don't have any clients this week. And I'm going to be like, okay, well, what's going on with you? And they're like, oh, I got into this fight with my kids and whatnot. And I'm like, well, that's why you're not having anybody in your practice right now. It's because you're not feeling good, and you might need to rest, and you might need to, make better food choices and stuff like that, because that also influences your mindset. If you're not sleeping enough, you'll have a negative mindset more so than if you're sleeping enough. But mindset really does affect everything. It affects our glow. It affects how we attract, how we approach people. It affects how much money you make is affected by your mindset. So yeah, mindset is super, super important.
And it kind of goes with the confidence. I mean, it
does.
The better mindset you have, and the more confidence you have, the more you're open to more possibilities. And the more you open to more possibilities, the more you glow, and the more apt to receiving, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, and I think that's really important. What are some things that we can do to make sure or help ourselves have a better presence, whether it's online or offline, and have that self-confidence, help us improve, especially when we're going through, I don't know, we all go through it, whether it's business or whatever. I mean, even my coach said there are days where she feels like she's letting everybody down. She's not doing what she should do. She loves what she's doing, but she feels like she's not, we get inside our heads is what happens, right? Yeah. I mean, I know I do. And we basically beat ourselves up. I don't know why, but it's just what we do. So when we get like that, what are some things that we can do? Because one, that means it's affecting our self-confidence, it's affecting our mindset, and in essence, it's affecting our presence. So what can we do to actually help ourselves with that and be able to go through it quicker or whatever, so that we can actually show our true self-confidence afterwards?
Well, there are a few things that I've seen that work really, really well on a large scale. Now, everybody is a bit different, and everybody has their own issues that affects their mindset and that affects their confidence. But in general, the number one thing I see is if you're tired, you'll be more prone to having a negative mindset and a negative overview of everything. Everything seems to be much darker in life when you're tired, when you're overworked, right? So the first thing is look at your sleep pattern. Is it good? Is it not good enough? Are you not getting enough sleep? Maybe you should see someone about that. Second thing is, are you overwhelmed in your business or in your life? Can you delegate some stuff? The third thing is, if you make a list of things that you have in your priority, and you can actually check mark at the end of the day, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished that, this is done, then you can actually pat yourself on the back and say, wow, I actually did something positive to work towards. To, as soon as you can see, your mind it works in a way that as soon as you accomplish something, your mind gets in gear of, oh, she's doing something positive. The mind wants to be working. It wants to be moving forward. So when you start feeling down, write something down that you can do today to move forward. And as soon as you get that done, you'll see your mindset shift right away. Groove. I mean, music has a really big impact.
I was gonna say, turn the music up really loud and dance like nobody's watching, because normally nobody is. Not in my house anyway, because normally everybody's gone. So I do it.
And it does have a very big impact. It's been proven by so many neuroscientists that music has a very big impact on how we feel and how we view the world. So upbeat music, dance to it for a little while, crank it up, sing your head off. I mean, that does help a lot. Yeah. Also, the food, because, sweets are good on the tongue. And trust me, I have the biggest sweet tooth ever. But it's really bad for your energy, because after a while everything slows down in your body after you eat sugar, like maybe 20 to 30 minutes afterwards. And then you start feeling sluggish and you're less focused, and all that kind of piles up and makes you feel less shiny. If you can say that.
Right. And then when things with our personal lives are getting in the way, one of the things I do is it kind of like what we were talking about with balance. I kind of just say, okay, you know what, this is where my focus needs to be, and I put my focus on that. And then that way, I remind myself that my business is okay, and then I go back, and then I'm able to, take care of whatever needs to be taken care of, and then put my focus back on my business. And I think that's important too. And also having that self-care, because again, like you're saying, the sleep, taking time out for yourself. Sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes what I do when I feel that my self-confidence and my mindset is drifting, I just, you know what, I'm done. I take a step back and I get lost literally in a book. And my book that I get lost in, I read Nora Roberts or JD Robb. I get lost in one of her books because it's not my world, it's a different world, and I kind of like that world. And it reminds me, nobody got it as bad as we think. And just that self-care, I think that has a lot to do with the self-confidence, and then also your mindset, and then your presence, right? I mean, it's all intertwined.
It is all intertwined. And you've got the point, whereas if something is going wrong in your personal life, it will affect your business. Mm-hmm. And that needs to be taken care of, whichever way that is for whomever is watching. But once that is done, you do need to get back to your business. Otherwise, you'll feel bad about abandoning your business. And then just stuff keeps adding up, right? Oh, it's going bad in my life, and then I'm not doing anything for my business, and then it just keeps rolling. So get over whatever needs to be done as quickly as possible. And oftentimes what I find is anticipation is a lot worse than the actual thing. So if you need to talk to either an employee or an assistant or your child or your husband or whatever, you often anticipate their response to whatever you need to settle with them. And when you come to the point where you can no longer avoid it and you have to face it, And then afterwards, you're like, well, that wasn't so bad after all.
Well,
but the heaviness of the anticipation makes everything worse.
We got inside our heads and we sit there and we sit there and try to project and analyze, and it's ridiculous. And I agree. But I mean, sometimes there are things in life that are happening where you have to say, okay, you know what? Like for me, example, the last couple of days, I'm behind on some things with my business. But the reason why was because there were some things that need to be focused on in my personal life. And a year ago, I would have literally beat myself up over that for at least a week. No joke. And this time it was like, you know what, and at first I went to, but I was like, you know what, this can wait until tomorrow. This is what needs to be focused on. And then, yes, it's put me a little bit behind. And yeah, there were some things that didn't get done that should have got done, but I reworked it and now they're being reworked. Does that mean I may have to work a little bit extra hours later on this week? Yeah, possibly. But I'm okay with that, because I was able to take care of what needed to be taken care of with my personal life. This week, I'm going to be honest, is completely nuts. I've already told everybody and anybody, because I have a lot of personal appointments with my girls. They have appointments this week, and the reason why is because I leave for Palm Springs in 2 weeks. And so I'm trying to make sure all of their appointments are done before I go, so that for those 3 days that I'm gone during the week, my husband doesn't have to worry about taking him to any of those appointments. So you've got orthodontists, you've got whatever going on. So I think it's important that when you realize, okay, you know what, I have so much going on here with all these appointments, that you make it where you don't have as much going on with your business, so that that stressed presence doesn't show up in your business, and you're able to take that time out to be a mom, to be wife, to be whatever, to be yourself, and then go back to the business.
One way or the other. I mean, the reason why, probably one of the reasons why you open your business, aside from the fact that you love what you're doing, was to be able to do all of that and spend that time with your family, right? Or your spouse or whatever. And have that leisure to not have to tell your boss, oh, I need to be absent for this, this or that appointment. And that's why we're doing it. So we got to stop beating ourselves over the head and feeling about doing what we've been
wanting to do to begin with, which is the reason why we are having our business. I mean, I told myself yesterday, I'm like, wait a minute, why are you beating yourself up when this is what you were after to begin with? Because I was looking, I'm like, holy crap, I have an orthodontist appointment, I have a dentist appointment, I have counseling. This is all for my kids, counseling appointments. I'm going, okay, I can't do any of this stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is why you wanted to be able to do this to begin with, is so you didn't have to go, oh, I need 2 hours off, I'm going to have to work 2 hours later, I'm going to have to make this time up and ask permission and yada, yada. I didn't have to do that. I just had to rearrange my schedule and just, and block off the time. And then when emergencies happen, it was like one of them had to go to the emergency room because they hurt themselves. And it was like, okay, you know what? Call, hey, I need to reschedule this because this is where I'm at, because this takes precedence. And that you want to be able to do that. You don't want to have to worry about, oh, are they going to fire me? Or, I'm going to have to go in late because I have to make up my hours and I'm going to have to work late. You didn't have any of that. But we, for some reason, tend to beat ourselves up, which in turn shows up in our presence, like you're saying, because of that, because of how we're feeling. And I think that if we take that step back, and we deal with what we need to deal with, and we do whatever it is we need to do, and then come back, your presence will, then you're able to be focused, so your presence shines.
Exactly. And you need to be able to remind yourself of that. And if you can't, then that's the reason why we got coaches, right?
Exactly.
Now
hey, I live with coaches. I have coaches and mentors everywhere.
There you go. So
I'm constantly going, please remind me how good I am. I text him or message him and go, please remind me that I'm doing a good job. I mean, because sometimes you need to be reminded. I think I want everyone to get from this that your presence is so much more than your image. It's how you talk, is how you perceive yourself, because how you perceive yourself is what you put off to everybody else. And she's right. Jasmine, a couple of years ago when Jasmine and I first met, I was working 60 hours a week. I was stressed to the hilt. I had migraines. I had tension headaches constantly. I had tension in my shoulders. And and yes, I did put on a good front, but no matter what, though, it showed. And even though there wasn't much I could do about it at the time, it was showing in my presence with my business because I was trying to build it. And then when the gods came in and said, you know what, this is it, and I got laid off, it took a turn. Hey, I thank them every day. It took a turn, and all of a sudden, the presence, it started evolving. It didn't evolve overnight. I didn't turn into the profitability coach overnight. It kind of evolved into that. And with that came no more migraines, no more tension headaches, no more tension in my neck. And I'm happier, and I act happier. I seem happier because I am. Yes, I still get stressed. Yes, I still beat myself up. I think that just comes with the nature of being a woman, a wife, a mother, and whatever else. But I'm doing things now even more so of taking care of myself. I have a Fitbit. I work out. My coach is in Canada. My fitness trainer is in Canada. One of my other mentors here is in Canada. But I also have people who are in the UK and all over the United States that I know depend on me, and that I also depend on them. And so I think it's really important that when we start seeing that we're not sure how our presence is being, that we make sure that we're not just looking at the image, the picture, because it's so much more than that picture. It's everything, right? I mean, it's everything.
Surround yourself with people who will shine that back to you. People who you hang around with the most have a great influence on who you are and how you show up in the world and your mindset and all of that. So you really need to audit your circle and make sure that those... Right.
And the circle is also not just in person. This is also online. Because I'm going to be the first to tell you that my circle, the circle of people I have that surround me, I mean, it's a huge circle. I've got my Academy members, and that's my big circle. But then I have others like Jasmine, and I have people women in the UK. I have a circle that I know are there that lift me up and that I lift up. And when you see them being empowered and being lifted up and having that presence, it makes you also lift up and have that strong presence. I mean, it really does. It's amazing. It really is amazing. So before we close, I wanted to see, do you have something that you would like to share with them, like a freebie or an opt-in or anything of that nature, or a site where they can go and check out some more information about your self-confidence?
Actually, yes, I do. I'm working on the Sassing Confidence box, which is going... Yeah. So it's going to contain a whole bunch of tools and exercises to help with self-confidence. And it's on my website, and I'm really working hard to make it come to life as soon as possible. So it should be live in a few weeks.
Okay.
So I'm going to share the link with everybody on your Facebook as soon as we log off here.
Okay. Awesome. Well, before we end, I want to read the very last part of this last paragraph of her page of her book, because to me I think this is really important. It says, never forget that woman you want to be. She wants to come out too, so don't hold her back. Have fun with it. Shine with all your sassy confidence.
Yay!
And I think that's really true. And that's how I want to leave it, is I want you to remember that no matter what, enjoy what it is you're doing, and remember that you're good at it, and then just be that person, be that woman, be that person that wants to come out and work at it. Is it always easy? No, but I promise you it is worth every single bit of it. And I think that being surrounded by people that lift you up and remind you of that are also very much worth it. And just remembering to have that sassy confidence. As Jasmine's front picture is like this. I love it. I see, I can do it.
There you go. Awesome.
Hey, I'm having pictures done in Palm Springs. That's gonna be a good one. That'll be a good one for me to do for this. Yes, right?
Awesome.
I'm gonna have to make sure I do that. So thank you very much for coming on. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Everybody will be up for 48 hours to watch, y'all. I hope y'all watch it and enjoy it and get some good things out of it. If you have any questions, please hit us up in the comments. Jasmine and I both will answer. And then, of course, after the 48 hours, it's available through my email list. Jasmine, thank you so much for being on. I truly enjoyed it. I had fun. I absolutely love you. You know that. I appreciate everybody who watched us, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
All right. Bye.